I didn't get to talk about this when it came out, so I'm a little bit late, but I wanted to discuss the new Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings trailer that dropped because I have things to say about it. And most of the, well, not most, pretty much all the things I'm going to say are positive. As of right now, I'm going to go see Black Widow in a couple weeks when it comes out. But if I'm being honest with you, besides Spider-Man, which I'm only guessing is going to be a great movie, we don't know for sure, there's no trailers yet. I'm looking forward to Shang-Chi the most this year. I look forward to it more than the Eternals movie, and I'm looking forward to it way more than Black Widow, even though I want to see Black Widow as well. Honestly, Eternals is like in last place. But the more I see of Shang-Chi, the more it's like, man, I've been wanting this movie for a long time. This new trailer discussed and talked about and showed the Ten Rings, which was teased all the way back in Iron Man. Those of you who know about, the Mandarin, the Ten Rings, you know kind of where they got the idea from. Although what we've been hearing is that in this Marvel canon, the MCU, the Ten Rings are going to be like a smaller, lesser version of the Infinity Stones, where they're going to be like a MacGuffin that people want. But, they're obviously in the comics nowhere near as powerful. We know that. But for the MCU, they kind of want this to be the MacGuffin for at least some of the characters. I'm not saying Phase 4 will be all about the Ten Rings, but certainly this movie will be. And we knew that. That was a rumor that had been going around forever, and the trailer pretty much confirmed that that's going to be the big artifact of this film. Now, interestingly enough, when it comes to me, I have never really been a big fan of Shang-Chi in the comics. Not saying I don't like Shang-Chi, but I've never read a Shang-Chi comic ever. And I feel like I would like it. The master of martial arts, the master of kung fu, like, I feel like I would love that stuff. But I just never read it. I was always a kid who read Spider-Man, X-Men, a little bit of Iron Man, a little bit of Fantastic Four, but I was mostly an X-Men kid. Like, that's what I know. And Batman, of course. We're talking about just Marvel here. And Spawn, but I'm talking about just Marvel. So, Shang-Chi was never really an A-tier hero. Like, even when I had the trading cards, sometimes there wouldn't even be a Shang-Chi card. You know what I mean? And this movie, these trailers have made me hyped up for a character that I really don't know much about. So that should tell you that this is good marketing. And like the scenes in this movie of him like training and like, doing this sort of old school kung fu stuff that like of these movies that I grew up watching. Like I love watching those old Bruce Lee and, the old Jackie Chan, the old like Wu-Tang films. I love that stuff. And this movie looks like it's going to be a big love fest to those films. And like the scene at the dinner table where he's like, the Mandarin's like, be careful how you speak to me, boy. Like, that is Mandarin, yo. And I really hope, even though we're never going to see Tony Stark versus the Mandarin, which I really wanted, I really hope there's some kind of reference to Stark Industries or to Tony Stark. Like I hope there's something, right? Some kind of reference to it. That way at least us as fans can be like, okay, like at least they acknowledge that there was some kind of connection there. And I know there will be. I hope there is. I mean, I can't say I know for sure, but I hope there is. The visual effects looked great, and then the scene underwater where they show the dragon, which I believe is Fing Fang Foom, like as a Marvel fan, I loved it. However, I am a little concerned because very few movies have been able to really make a dragon look good when it's CGI. Like even like the Hobbit trilogy, like Smaug looked okay. Like he didn't look that good. And I maybe they're putting him underwater for the purpose of like kind of masking the CGI. You know that old trick about how if you do CGI like with certain colors, like dark colors or like at night, you can kind of mask like the how fake it looks. If they do that, it might work. But it certainly looked like awesome because that character is in the Marvel comics. You know what I mean? And it did look awesome in the trailer. And I like the scene of them fighting, like with the 10 rings, like the colors, like, it looked great. It looked a little bit, this one, compared to the first trailer, this one looked a bit more like an MCU movie. The first one felt more like a kung fu film. This one had a little bit of that, but this one ultimately didn't have as much kung fu isms as like the first one did. And I want the movie to have more kung fu isms because that makes it, more martial arts stuff. Because it makes it kind of stick out more. But at the same time, like, I guess maybe they're thinking, okay, we got to make this marketable for the MCU fans, right? And remind them it's an MCU movie, I guess. I don't know. I'm just saying what I'm guessing. And then the big twist at the end of the trailer is Shang-Chi inside the steel cage fighting what appears to be the Abomination. The same one from way back. I love how they're tying back to phase one and like the first couple movies. The one from the Incredible Hulk film. Tim Roth's character, who we know is coming back because he's going to be in the She-Hulk series. So, are they going to use this movie to reintroduce him, or is this another character that happens to have the same like powers, the same serum or whatever, or the same, whatever, the same like waves, like, nuclear, like whatever. Like, is it another Abomination or is it the original? I think it's the original. And it's going to be interesting to see how he wound up there. Where has he been for the past three phases? Where has he been for Loki's attack on New York and Ultron and Thanos and all the battles with him and all the other characters that threatened, you know, the sanctity of the world? Captain America Civil War, like where has he been during all this time? And that's going to be the big mystery. But I do love how it's tying all the way back into that. That is cool. Anyways, I enjoyed the trailer. I think I'm going to like the movie. I like the first trailer a little bit more, but this was some interesting surprises. And I hope it's good this September. What did you think? Let me know. I'll talk to you soon.